Hi, this is Adarsh on Indigo 91.9 FM. That's also indigomusic.com. This is Founders Frequency on indigomusic.com in association with TiE Bangalore Chapter. I am in conversation today with the CEO and co-founder of Akshayakalpa Farms and Foods, Mr. Shashi Kumar. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome, sir.
Thank you, Adarsh, for inviting me for this show. Thank you.
My first question to you was 17 years in the telecommunications industry is what you've spent. And I think the last 8 to 10 years as CEO and co-founder of Akshayakalpa, which is into the agriculture and agri-entrepreneurship industry. So what prompted you to make the shift, to make the change? Do you come from a farming background or was it just, something that clicked, something that made you make the change? What was it? What was the motivating factor?
I think majority of engineers who are coming from rural areas, they all come from farming families. Okay, I'm a good example of that. My father never wanted me to be a farmer, seen the worst part of farming. Therefore, we all became engineers. So
Right.
I think we are in the middle of a what you call IT revolution, 91, 92, and we are seeing the best of the IT, but we can't forget where we came from, that is farming.
Right.
Last 15 years in Akshakalpa, we are trying to prove farming is viable, working with farmers and making them entrepreneurs. That's the work which is ongoing.
All right. Let's also talk about what Akshayakalpa does. I think there's also a lack of awareness because there's a huge dearth of organically produced farm products or food products or dairy farm products, even in the cities. But a lot of people are still not aware. I think the awareness is coming in the last few years. People have started questioning where the source of food originates. My thought is, and a lot of people who are in the agriculture industry I've spoken to have agreed that not every organic label is actually organic. It's just a label that's going on with the trend. So talk to me about how it's affecting our physical and mental health and what should we change?
See, what Akshakalpa is doing is going to villages, identifying farmers and working with them to produce organic food. That's what we are doing. Okay, last 15 years, we have worked with 1,750 farmers and 7,500 acres of land. We have bought it under organic cultivation.
Right.
Where we don't know the traceability, a lot of consumer questions cannot be answered. Is it really organic? Okay, irrespective of it is organic or otherwise, the good agricultural practices needs to be followed. And these 7,500 acres of land, 1,750 farmers, they're following organic production systems. That's where the value gets created. Of course, once the value gets created in the farm level, there needs to be a willing buyer, willing to pay money for that organic produce. That's how we are trying to build markets in Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad. So in the process of building, the realization is that consumers are looking for alternatives, from what they are from a conventional food. But the question here is, how do you tell them, there's an alternative exists? One way of is, of course, you go and market it. What we have done is, let me say, take previous year, we have bought 45,000 consumers of Akshakalpa to visit Akshakalpa farmers. Stay
Yes,
with
I
them.
know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, stay with them, have a meal with them, work for a day. At least once in 52 weeks, you should take this as a pilgrimage for your own good, because you should know the source of your food. You should know who produced it. You should know how it was produced, or Scott is produced. What chemicals are used, what is using to produce. So all this know-how will happen firsthand. So that's how we are trying to really tell consumers the source of food. It is
Right.
just not the label. It's very important they go to the source and understand that entire source. That's exactly how we are trying to build the market.
I think if you don't have a background coming out from villages, like people who have been born and brought up in the cities, like even me, for example, to be very honest, I think if you ask me as a kid where food came from, I would probably say the kitchen, right? And because you come from a farmer's background and also you have come from a village, you do know that this is the origin of it. I think that's very important to understand because where your source of food actually originates and how it's being done is also something that people need to know if they want to actually improve the quality of their food. That's the first step. I also read up a bit about Akshayakalpa and what it's doing and what you're doing in the organic farming and dairy farming sector. There's also, like you said, like your dad, your father didn't want you to become a farmer. The reason is the economic hardships that farmers go through, which you're changing, of course. But you said there's a lot of forced migration amongst the youth that's happening, and you're stopping that. How are you doing that? And what are the practices that Akshayakalpa has followed? And talk to me about this change that's happening.
See, the fundamental change of youth migrating from rural areas to cities because of economic viability of farming. That is
Yes,
the fundamental issue.
yes,
Question here is this cannot be solved by a theory. It needs to be solved by putting substantial money in farmer's hand. So in Akshakalpa, if you at an average, Akshakalpa farmer earns 100,000 rupees a month. That's the change what we have bought in because changing his farming practices and getting the right consumer who is willing to pay for that. That's very, very important. First step. Second step is this needs to be continuous. It cannot be 1 month or a 2 month or third month. Lot of work on soil management we do. We probably make biggest manure piles possible, 200 to 300 tons of manure we produce in each farm to ensure soil management is done.
hmm.
And each and every farm is integrated with beekeeping. Each and every farm has a backyard poultry. Each and every farm has a dairy. Each and every farm has a vegetable garden. This is exactly how we have diversified the farmer income profile so that he can stay put and he can lead a life much better than any city dweller, which is
Yes.
under his control. That's what we have done. You can imagine in a rural lifestyle, rural setup, the changes what it has happened. This is exactly the work what we do. Work with them, diversify the farm, ecologically make it sensitive, put lot more money in their hand, okay, than they can ever imagine, okay, happened in farming.
Actually, personally, I want to congratulate you and on everything that you've done. I think it's great work. Very less people have done this before. I think there is because of more awareness. I think post pandemic that's happening about the quality of food that we are having and the mental health and physical health effects of that. More and more people are realizing that. But I think you started even before all that because you had the awareness because of the background that you have had. So kudos to you for all the things milestones you have achieved and all the things you'll be doing in the future for the youth of the country, especially who come from villages and who want to take up agri entrepreneurship as their career path. What is your advice to you? What are the challenges they might have to face initially, at least, because nothing comes without challenges, especially your startup journey or your entrepreneurship journey. So what would you like to say to them, and also what are the opportunities that they can explore in this industry?
So the farming as a sector is okay, the next biggest thing which is going to happen in the country. So
Right.
right now, if you really look at what is the profile of a farmer, profile of a farmer is 55 to 60 years of age. These are the gentlemen, okay, ladies who are producing food for us. In next 20 years, they're going to migrate out of farming because of age, because of other issues. Okay. The
True.
question is, who is the next food producer? Number of people who are producing food for us is actually falling down. And this is the right time, probably people make a foray into farming and food production systems. It is going to have a huge implication next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of okay journey of our country. Okay, first one. Second thing is entrepreneurs who are getting into farming space like Akshakalpa like model. There's a huge scope working with farmers, improving productivity.
Hmm.
So that is another area which is untapped. Farming productivity, soil management, crop integration, diversity. There are host of things which are possible at a farm level, which will really help farmers to take their income to next level. These two, one is a farmer as an entrepreneur, and second thing is entrepreneurship models around farmers. Both have a huge scope in the country going forward. But unfortunately, what's happening right now is what we call as an agri-tech, which is an input. Okay, either seeds, a manure, a drone, or whatever. Okay, it takes money away from farming. And
Hmm.
other thing is, okay, the output. After farming, what is coming from as a farm output, there are a lot of work is happening, but no work is happening in the farming agriculture space. This is an amazing opportunity. The risk exists, but opportunities are aplenty. So that's how I want to really put it. Anybody who is willing to enter, they can come and of course visit us and see what we have done. We are happy to share. A lot of people visit us, and we are all the farms are open. All our business model is open. What we want to do is whatever we have learned in Akshakalpa last 15 years. Is it possible to disseminate this one across the country? That's what we are doing right now.
I think I'm going to be one of the first people to visit your farm and take a look at it myself because I'm really excited. I've heard about this for the last few years, but again, I didn't have the opportunity to interact with you or take it forward. But I think I'm going to take that step and come visit your farm. I think more and more people should. if they want to understand where their source of food comes in. Also, if they want to take a look at the entrepreneurship opportunities in the agriculture industry. Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Shashi Kumar, CEO and co-founder of Akshayakalpa Farms and Foods. This is Founders Frequency in association with the TiE Bangalore Chapter on indigomusic.com. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Adarsh.